you're not a hip-hop dancer, but he wants to ask you a question. I was like, trust me, I can answer any question about any dance. I'm qualified. She don't know.
So you're trying to say you're not no hip-hop.
Right, so I won't know anything about hip-hop.
But that's how we all came up dancing.
But see, we know we dancers. They call us house dancers. We never called ourselves house dancers. It was given to us. So we took it, because that was the music we listened to. But funk dancers listen to soul, or rhythm and blues, which they call funk. Later. But the dance was the funk. We got the funk, we got it, because it's funky. So the terminology grew and changed. Like hip-hop became hip-hop because of the music and verses and songs, just like jacking became what it is for verses and songs. Somebody said it and it took off. So it don't matter how. We aren't always in control of why shit happened. But if we understand the psychology, us that are in the place where we're still doing it and in it, and that's one thing, we never stopped dancing from the time we was little. Niggas never stopped the whole time, 40 years of that.
That's a lot of
30-something years. So think about that. We are living, walking, breathing information. It's history, encyclopedias. Anything I see, I know where it comes from. If it's street dance, you can't tell me nothing about it. Nobody that's not my age can tell me nothing about street dance. Because I've been doing it since I was 9, nigga. 9, I'm 40.
I know what you're saying.
You understand? So I hit him, boom. I said, yo, all street dance, I said, if you want to understand why they don't look like you think hip-hop dancers should look, I said, there's 2 reasons why. One, for yourself, you need to study your history of street dance. I said, all hip-hop dance comes from, hip-hop today comes from hip-hop social dances in the 90s. Right? I said, if you look at hip-hop social dances in the 90s, they come from the styles before them. Funk styles, locking, popping, boogaloo, robot. Funk styles. I said, if you look at the funk styles, if you look at all of those, and I said, and b-boying included, b-boying gets separated, because now niggas doing all this power movement. But b-boying is technically a funk style. Because it was born in the conception of the late end of the funk era into the hip-hop era, because funk music is what gave birth to hip-hop. That's why James Brown is the most sampled. That's why Isaac Hayes is the most sampled artist in the hip-hop world, because they was the conceptual period of hip-hop. What we call rhythm and blues or disco later. Then I was like, yo, so if you study the history of dance and its progression backwards and start to see what you're really doing, I said, because if you look at the language of locking and electric boogaloo and popping, that's the same language that's in hip-hop social dances, just segmented. The dance became social steps. Again, if you look at the social dances in the 70s, like the get down, right? Or the breakdown, right? Get down, children. Get down, right? It's basically that's the groove to lock it. That's the groove to lock it. The groove to locking is the hit. That's for popping. So it's a progression. I said, so if you now study the history of hip hop into those eras, when you go into today, when you look at it, you'll be able to see the elements of hip hop that still exist that are there. That'll show you the track, the trail. You have to follow it. Then when you see it, you might go, wow, okay, there is some hip hop still left, but it's a little more watered down. Then you can start to re-examine those styles and start bringing out the true hip hop again for the next generation. Then I went even further back, and I said, now, tap, what we call tap or hoof it back in the days is the original street. That is shit. That's our shit. The original street, we still hoofing, dog. What we doing is hoofing. Street dance is hoofing. If you look at old footage of tap dances, they doing shit from b-boying, from boogalooing, all of that shit is in there. And Lindy is jazz dance.
I know.
Original jazz dance is hoofing.
No doubt.
So hoofing is the conceptual period of what Lindy is at its highest point. That's tap at its highest point. Evolved to a social dance.
Why you think like in because I totally agree that like the Lindy Hop straight up is jazz dance. I mean the modern sense.
Oh yeah.
No doubt. I mean, come on. But like, why to dance music as opposed to tap, modern day tap? Why cats started rocking like that
To modern day tap?
to dance music, to house music? Like, why that style, that Lindy Hop style?
Because
I mean, I know y'all responsible for
why
doing
that Lindy Hop style and house music? Because that Lindy Hop style is actually the beginning of what we look at. When you look at Lindy Hop style, a lot of those movements have gone into b-boying and have gone into hip-hop social dances in the 90s. When you look at 90s hip-hop movement, you see a lot of Lindy. Conceptual Lindy steps that have been preserved. Because what happens is movements cross over all the time. Some movements have been valid for hundreds of years. They're still there. We're just calling them different names today in hip-hop. But hip-hop is basically the underground movement of black culture in America.
Yeah, that's true,
so
no doubt.
all you have to do is what's happening is each generation is calling it something new. But it's just a rebirth of the old shit evolved for the future.
Yeah.
You understand?
I believe that.
But now, what's happening is the gap between the people that, us, because we're the ones that are in the middle of the generation now, and the ones that came before us, because of what's going on in the time period, there's no more, the social order of dance has dropped because the club scene,
is
right, which is the community for us.
Yeah.
See, it came from the street to the clubs, right? The clubs was our shelters. That was our places that the street kids went just to keep from getting in trouble because you couldn't dance in the street no more. And the hoods was dangerous.
You get popped.
Niggas go to hip hop clubs, they was getting it. So they was going to the underground house clubs because it was trendy. All the girls was there, and the fashion and all of that, and it was playing every kind of music thing. So what that happened was during that time frame, all those fusions of different people and music, right, started happening, and then house became more popular. Now you had different versions of house. Then you had acid. You had hard.
Now, I was thinking about something. You heard some of those tracks that was on the thing? Like certain cats, like, just sorry, I can see why certain cats be like, yo, like, it's interesting because some of them guys, they remind me of those old acid tracks. Except they, you know, newer ones coming out now. But they remind me of those tracks.
And they bring that movement back out. And that's another thing too, you know as well as I do. When we put the music on or those or set that type of vibe or that environment that we were growing up in this incubation period, what happens? We go back to that creative source. And that core movement or that feeling that we felt then comes out again, and then that style's coming out. When I put on Break for Love, when I put on Distant Planet, when I put on
I call that my Renaissance period. I call that the Renaissance period because that's when I saw y'all, like, to me,
that's when it was
all of y'all, it's like y'all mentality was different then, and that's when I like was seeing y'all like really hot, like when nobody would come in and rock around y'all, like it was so atmospheric, like and I believe like other people maybe from Japan that was around, from other countries that saw that. You can't take those years. I call it the Renaissance period.
That's when we really started being seen in other places. We didn't know. But it's like, you know, you drop a stone in the water, that ripple, that shit will spread throughout the whole lake. So that's what happened to the world. It took time. It took 10 years to ripple, but that 10-year ripple has now come back full circle. Motherfuckers just coming here now. The ripples come back. So now what we put out, we reap it. All that love, all that deep cultivation of spirit and the dedication when we was broke and starving and there was no money in this thing, you know what I mean? We were still doing it, carrying the torch for this. So that's why we take it deep. Like it's not a game for us. This is our life. This is what kept us on the right track. You know, this is what got me and you families. Like
straight up.
We have families right now.
Straight up.
You know
I don't know, you know what I mean?
If we didn't have a spiritual like awakening, like to let
I know what you're saying.